Welcome everyone to the STEM Broker Podcast. I'm your host, April Boyd-Noronha, also known as the STEM Broker. But hey, I'm just a girl that's also a geek who loves to talk about girls in STEM. And just in case you missed any of our previous podcasts, simply go to our website, www.thestembroker.com, and click on the podcast link to check us out. And of course, for more information about the STEM Broker Podcast, professional development training, and other STEM events, you know where to go, thestembroker.com. Now, you can also check us out online. You can follow us on Twitter as @thestembroker. You can like us at facebook.com/The STEM Broker. And after you listen to the podcast, make sure you like us by clicking on the heart icon on our podcast page. So if you're on Twitter right now and you have comments or even questions about the show, tweet them using hashtag The STEM Broker. Now, some of you may be wondering, what or who is the STEM Broker? Yeah, I know. But what does a STEM broker do, right? I know that's the main question on most of you guys' minds, right? Well, we are a consulting agency that's focused on increasing the level of training, engagement, and dialogue in support of all things about girls in STEM, whether that be in the classroom, in your home, and even more importantly, in the community. Now, my listeners may already know that I have a personal investment in the success of the Girls in STEM initiative as a parent of 3 children, and 2 of whom are my daughters who are aspiring engineers. So the STEM Broker Podcast pretty much was created to share my personal journey as a female, as a mom, as an educator, and also as an IT professional within the STEM arena. So I wear many hats when it comes to girls in STEM or women in STEM as well. So I not only talk the talk, but hey, I walk the walk each and every day. So it's my mission to train others and help others embrace and encourage this journey of girls and women in STEM. Because hey, that girl or that woman can be your daughter in STEM, it can be your sister in STEM, and even your own mother pursuing a STEM career. So that's why it's so important. So here's 2 ways that you can help keep STEM alive in the community. 1, you can partner with us, partner with the STEM Broker as an advertiser on our podcast. Or 2, you can even sponsor a podcast for as little as $25 a month. And who can't do that, right? You can do that. So those of you listening out there that want to help keep STEM alive, to get started, visit our website, thestembroker.com, and click on the sponsor a podcast link. Or you can send me an email at april@thestembroker.com. Now, just a few announcements before we get into the topic of today's show. Now, once again, make sure you visit our website at www.thestembroker.com for summer STEM training for educators, because we know we got to keep STEM alive in the classrooms. If you are a youth leader, you're going to be hosting some programs this summer or throughout the year. You need to keep the kids engaged in your programs as the youth leaders. And of course, last but not least, as parents. If we don't know, our kids may not know. We are like the first link and the perpetual catalyst for our kids, our girls pursuing STEM careers. So visit our website if you're an educator, youth leader, parent, a STEM advocate in the community. You just can't go wrong. But training for adults runs this week, and registration is open right now online at www.thestembroker.com. So if you're an educator, an HR professional or recruiter, maybe you're a current or soon to be IT professional, or maybe someone like me that transitioned later in their career into IT, or a STEM advocate, there is a class for you. I guarantee it. Why? Because I created them and I'm teaching them. So visit our website, thestembroker.com, for classes and times that are offered this week. And you can even register online as well. So you can do everything right then and there at thestembroker.com. Now, last note for all of you parents, I will be hosting a STEM boot camp for girls in July. It'll actually start July 6th this summer. So tune into the podcast every Monday night at 9 p.m. for more details about the specific classes and workshops that I'll be offering for the girls in this innovative, fun, cool boot camp just for girls. And of course, visit our website, thestembroker.com's calendar page for updates and to register. Now, I am so excited. Mark your calendar, save the date. On June 5th, starting at 9:40 a.m., I have been invited to host a STEM panel at the UMKC Women of Color Conference. Now, I am personally inviting each and every one of my listeners to join me at this STEM as I moderate this STEM panel. Now, this is the 10th annual conference that's held at UMKC Student Union, which is located at 61st and Cherry. So this is major. So major, and I am so excited. I'm so honored to be a part of this 10th annual UMKC Women of Color Conference. So you can register. Go online. There's a link on my page at thestembroker.com, or you can register at the UMKC Diversity and Inclusion page. I can't wait to see you there. I am so excited. We're going to be tackling the nuts and bolts of how to keep STEM alive in the community, and especially for our girls. So, are you ready for the show today? I know you are. Let's go ahead and get started. So last week, we focused on STEM training that I'm offering for adults. They are presented in 4 different tracks, one for the educators, one for the corporate strategy in business for as far as recruiting, hiring, and retaining women and minorities in STEM careers. A 3rd track is for the STEM professionals. Like I said, it will range from new grads in an IT career to those that are transitioning into a new STEM career. And then last but not least, there is a STEM track for community engagement. And that's for the parents, for the businesses, for youth leaders, etc. Anyone involved in keeping STEM alive with girls in STEM. So that was last week, and that's, of course, is going to be an ongoing question of the day. But for this week, for this particular podcast, we're going to focus on girls in STEM. And the topic in particular is on how to help a girl hack her way into a STEM career. We know it does not happen overnight. We know that it is a process. We know that there are different variables and different people that need to be in place along this STEM journey. And as many of you know, you don't necessarily have to have a full-fledged 4-year degree to be successful in a STEM career nowadays. Now, my disclaimer here, I am always an advocate for education. Both of my parents are retired educators, so I am not saying just throw it to the wind. But that being said, we're seeing tech geniuses sprout up, literally as early as preteen ages. A few years ago, the main pool of talent for techies and geeks were, the millennials. But that's not so anymore. We see it all the time. Kids are tinkering around with stuff in their parents' garages. They're hanging out at local coder dojos on early Saturday mornings. And they're even stealing the show and winning the grand prizes at heavily corporate-funded hacker events. It's getting real out there. Just last month, when I attended my first Coder Dojo event with my son, who is 9 years old, he was joined by other youths pretty much about up to the age of 17. And honestly, most of these kids were elementary school age. Preteens. I don't think I even saw any high school students. At least that I could see. So As a parent of 3 children where, as you know, 2 of my children are girls who are on a serious STEM career track because they're teenagers now. But I do know that I have learned along the way that the earlier they're introduced to the love of STEM and the real possibilities of having a lucrative and secure career in STEM, the better. The earlier, the better. And as a mom, I think the earliest that I started introducing my girls to STEM camps like at Mizzou was about in elementary school. Both of my girls that are now teenagers, so they know the deal and they're comfortable and somewhat more confident than other girls when it comes to tech and engineering and being a force to be reckoned with in the STEM arena because I started so early. So for the parents, grandparents, guardians, educators, youth leaders, if you're just the STEM advocate who knows that STEM is a viable way to engage your own kids, students in your classroom, or at your community center, this is the show for you. For the girls who want to give STEM a try, but they don't know exactly where or how to begin, this is the podcast for you. Well, maybe even you're an executive or a STEM or IT professional, and you want to do more, but you just don't know quite what that more, that concept of more should look like. You're searching for a game plan to implement. Well, hey, this is definitely the show for you. So listen up. So let's say that you're a girl who's, sort of a geek. You think you may want to pursue a career in STEM. You're comfortable with tinkering around with things at home. You're being around computers is like a second nature for you. The question then is, how do you funnel all that energy and interest? Where do you go to find support to keep STEM alive, right? That's the question. Well, first I suggest you let your parents or anyone who is a part of your support system know how you feel. Okay? Girls, have an honest discussion about your desire to pursue a STEM career. That makes sense, right? See, as a girl, you've got to find someone or a crew of someones who think like you think. Now, that does not necessarily mean you only have to hang out with people who are into STEM. No. The key here is to find people who will help you get it done. What I mean by that is someone who will keep you focused on your goal of having a STEM career. Someone that'll they'll be your backup to the backup when you need like a ride to a tech event. A girl's gotta find a friend who's gonna be willing to chip in when there's a registration or entry fee to attend the coolest STEM event ever. People like that who's gonna have your back. Now, for me, because my girls are only about 2 years apart, they're able to be each other's buddy when they go to STEM things and STEM events in the community. But what the gist of what I'm saying is the lack of access and exposure are 2 of the greatest deterrents to a girl staying the course of pursuing a STEM career. Lack of access, that can be from lack of funds to attend events, not having safe or reliable transportation to even get to an event, or a lack of knowledge that an event is even being offered. And if this critical component is a factor, then heck, the lack of exposures, it becomes a moot point in and of itself. Now, I must admit, the tech world is a closed arena where mostly boys reign supreme and where girls, and let alone minorities, are rarely seen, if then ever given the opportunity to showcase their untapped talent. So it's a scary scenario that girls today face. I'll give them that. Yet and still, as a girl, only a girl